Ian.
So while I could appreciate the emotional resonance of this film being a sibling, I am not a brother and I am not younger. So I'm quite excited to hear how Ian, the younger brother's reaction was to this.
Oh my god. Like, so first off, the movie starts and they say Ian. And I'm like, what? Nothing in the trailers say any names.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a surprise. And as things are going along, there are moments that I felt were directly ripped from my childhood.
Like what?
Like, so there were moments. So my childhood was weird. You know,
Sure.
I grew up in a foster home, essentially. I wasn't a foster kid. My parents, loved me, kept me. But that sounded terrible.
That was a bad... No, Ian, bad.
I'll cut that
Ian's
out.
parents worked for a foster home, and he ended up being around one often.
Yes. That's a much better way of
Many
saying
children
that.
in foster care have parents who wish that they could have them with them at home.
You're so much better than this than I am. God. Might just cut that whole part out. Yeah.
No, you should keep it. It's delightful.
Anyways.
I look great in that part of the episode.
You look fantastic. Great. But anyways, so growing up, my parents were often very much distracted by their serious job that
Sure.
they had. They didn't have 2 children. They had 175 over 10 years. And they had to raise every single one of those teenagers. They had to be the parents for every single one of those teenagers.
Right.
And though there was never a moment where I felt unloved or forgotten,
Right.
they didn't always have time for me.
Yes.
And that's where my brother stepped in. And he was there.
Right.
He was the one who taught me how to ride a bike. He was the one who taught me how to swim. You know,
Right.
like, my brother was my hero. My brother is my hero. He was my best man at my wedding. Like,
Yep.
you know, it's just one of those things where my brother made me the person who I am.
Sure.
And there are those scenes in this movie, and there's moments where Ian, the character, isn't recognizing it, and I'm sitting
like,
there,
No,
like,
wait.
I'm sitting there looking back, and it's like, oh shit, I didn't recognize that. And then there's things he did where it's like, Barley, it's like, you can do it. You've got the strength. We'll try another time. It's just super low key supportive.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking back, like, a week ago to my brother saying that to me. And I'm like, and I'm over there like,
Oh, no.
I was like, I need to call my brother after this movie. Oh, man, this movie, from the beginning of the third act
Yeah.
to the end, I wasn't sniffling. I wasn't teary-eyed. I was crying.
Yeah.
I was flat out crying. Tears were rolling down my cheeks. Luckily, I had my hoodie, so I was drying it up as quickly as I could. But man, this had me hook, line, and sinker emotionally. Like, I mean, this movie felt like my childhood.
Right.
Sans actual magic, and
Right.
my father didn't die.
Yes. Your
a
father
horrible
wasn't
disease.
a pair of legs.
My father wasn't a pair of legs, and my brother didn't have a sick van. But other than
He's
that,
going to be so offended.
my brother did have a sick, 1983 BMW with a moonroof that you had to crank, but it didn't have the crank, so you had a screwdriver.
See, your brother did have a sick van.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
just disguised.
Oh, it was so cool.
And the D&D elements of this were not included in the trailer and were a fun surprise.
Yeah,
That
also hit me too.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Ian
and I both play D&D.
Yes.
Have since at least high school.
That was when I was introduced to it.
Me too.
I love my parents, but for a long time I was told that D&D was the gateway to hell.
Sure. They didn't know any better.
They didn't.
They had no exposure to DNA. It's insane how much.
Now.
Yes, it's insane how much exposure to a thing or a people makes you not hate it.
Right? Exactly.
Life lesson, everyone. Learn about things.
But yeah, there were so many elements to this movie that I connected with, which led to me crying like a baby through most of it.
Yeah. It was a tearjerker.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I definitely sat through all of the credits to get my face clear.
So I didn't, because I looked up to see whether there was an after credit or no credit. They rarely is, but you never
Pixar.
know.
Yeah.
You never know. But I had to bolt out because I had to go to the bathroom so bad. And so I walk out, I walk past like 50 people because apparently everyone was going to the movie on Saturday morning at 10:30.
That makes sense.
And I get to the bathroom, do my business, and go to wash my hands, and I look like a mess. I'm like, my eyes are all bloodshot. My cheeks are kind of soggy. They're not wet, but you can tell they have been wet. You're just like, I'm looking at it, it's like, oh God. Like I had to like wash my face. Oh man.
Yeah, I saw this Thursday night. I saw it pretty late. I was one of 3 people in the theater.
That's crazy. My theater was packed.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Mine was empty. It was insane.
I wonder if that's related to the health scare or if that just...
It's probably a healthy mix of both. Because I've done Pixar movies late Thursday nights, and they usually have 30 or 40 people. Yeah. You know, like not a packed theater, but not an empty theater. So I'm sure it's a bit of both. The demographic being, they didn't advertise this one a ton. I got a lot of trailers for it, but I was also looking it up for timing for the schedule for this podcast.
Right. Yeah.
So it was in my algorithm. They were like, "She wants to see this, guys. Show her this."
Must see more.
But
I actually didn't, other than a few times before movies, I didn't get any trailers for it, like on YouTube or. I guess I don't watch too much TV, but
sure.
I didn't see any trailers for it on TV either. How strange.
How strange. But like I've said before, Pixar's trailers are usually not very good.
No, they're not.
So I'm not really upset. As long as I know that their movies are coming, I'm like, okay, great, I'll go see it. I don't need to see what you think is going to represent it well.
Speaking of Pixar trailers, though.
Yes.
Soul.
Yeah.
Which... From that trailer, I have no idea what the plot is going to be whatsoever. But I love that trailer because of the music in it.
The music is really good. I love... Yeah. No, it looks like it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Which...
Is that coming out this year?
I have no idea. It's slated for, like, this June. But the trailer I saw said coming next year.
Huh.
So I'm confused.
Yeah.
I have no idea what
Have we ever had 2 Pixar movies in one year?
I don't think so, unless it was like a sequel and a new release. That might have happened.
Yeah.
But I don't remember.
Yeah, but 2 new
IPs. 2 new concepts. I mean, I was surprised because initially it was on the schedule for June 2020, but that could have been a weird typo that just help me with words. Thank you. My tongue would not do that word today. Throughout all the different sites that, you know, like one date on a weird press release could have gone wide. But
right, yeah.
Yeah, it does feel weird, especially since they'd be such close releases in June. That's not very long.
Yeah.
Maybe it is coming out next summer and it's just been reported weird.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was like June 2021.
Yeah. Well, that makes more sense for their standard release schedule, but
it also, we've been getting trailers for it for the last like 3 months, 4 months. So it feels
odd. Like it might be coming out this year.
Yeah. And again,
it's still slated for 2020 on IMDb.
That's crazy. And again, I don't want to talk too much about trailers because that's for our Patreon podcast, by the way, Patreon. plug that if you want to hear some of
Patreon.com/casual cinephilia.
If you want to hear us pick apart and dissect modern trailers. That's
trailers and other little things. Though it's trailers right now.
Currently trailers.
There hadn't been other little things yet.
But there will be other little things that we'll be talking about on our Patreon. So if you want to support us, go see us there and listen to that. But going back to what I wanted to say, every single time that I see the trailer, I get just a little bit more excited to see the heights. Mm-hmm. That looks...
In the Heights?
In the Heights. It looks so good.
Yeah.
Is the music by Lin-Manuel Miranda?
That was his first Broadway musical.
Is he...
win the Tony.
Like, I know it says from the creator of Hamilton and all that stuff. Like, is he actually part of the project?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it was filmed on location in the neighborhood that it's based on.
That's awesome.
It was very involved. I mean, he wrote the whole musical, obviously with collaborators initially. But yeah, he did do all of the music writing. It's the same thing as Hamilton. He starred in the original cast. Mm-hmm. It's a really beautiful musical if you want to listen to it, which I know this is a controversial opinion with a lot of musical theater fans, but I always listen to the soundtrack before I go see a show because it helps me to connect to the story if I know the music already, especially if you don't listen to a lot of rap and you're not used to hearing things at speed. It can be easier to understand songs, though In the Heights doesn't have any really fast rapping, so you should be good.
Not so much as like Hamilton.
Like, yeah, you need to get the vocabulary together to listen to some music.
Right.
So it can be helpful. Like with Sondheim, I always like to know the music first because it's not super accessible if you don't know it.
Right. But yeah, I'm so excited.
So In the Heights, I'm already crying when I see the trailers. I'm like, I know what scene that's from. Oh no!
Oh, man, it looks so good.
Did you get an In the Heights trailer before this then?
Yeah.
I did not.
I got an In the Heights.
What theater did you go
to? Blue Oaks.
Huh.
Yeah.
Same. Just weird.
Yeah. I got it In the Heights. Didn't get a Scoob, like you said.
No, I got Scoob.
I did get Minions Gru.
Mm-hmm.
Go to our Patreon to hear us talk about that trailer. Oh, God. Plugging just hurts my soul.
It sounds like it does. It sounds painful.
It's like, go to our Patreon. Patreon.com/casual cinephilia. Anyways, but yeah, I got, and then the My Spy or whatever.
I didn't get that one.
Literally in front of every movie that I've seen.
I've only seen it like once.
And it doesn't come out until the end of this month, and I can't wait for it to come out so that the trailers can be done. I love Dave Bautista, but you know, can only take so many of those trailers.
Sure.
Anyway. Speaking of Dave Bautista, I loved the cast of this movie. That was a terrible segue.
I was like, where are you going with this?
Well, in my mind, Dave Bautista, Guardians of the Galaxy, Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt is in Onward.
Oh, okay. There we go.
There we go.
You made it. I understand now. Yeah, this was a really great cast.
I was worried at first.
Yeah.
I love Chris Pratt. I love Tom Holland, but
sure.
I feared that it was going to be just like a Marvel cash grab, like they're just getting the names to get the names.
Sure.
Not necessarily that they were the right fit for the characters. And I shouldn't have doubted Pixar.
Yeah. Well, if you were to see them together in press junket interviews for like Endgame and stuff like that, they really have that brother dynamic going.
Yeah, they really do. And their chemistry between each other was so perfect.
Yeah.
For brothers.
It was really sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't realize it. The mother was Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Mm-hmm. And she was phenomenal in this movie.
She was a really fun character. All of the characters were good, like you said. There wasn't a single character that I was like, well, I could have done without that.
Yeah. Like, everything. There was also, I mean, I'm going to get the duh